All right, so let's talk about projects here in the HVD division. It's pretty clear that not all of them are created equal, right? One day you could be designing a massive new transmission line, and the very next you're just handling a straightforward pole replacement. Now, even though they both fall under our standard design process, the paths they take, totally different. And getting on the right path from day one is absolutely key. That's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by looking at the two main project paths. Then we'll dive into how they start out differently in the initiation stage. After that, we'll compare the final deliverables needed for stage 90 and wrap it all up by talking about why knowing all this stuff really matters for your work.
So let's set the stage. We have one unified HVD design process. Think of that as our rulebook. But depending on what kind of project you're on, the actual journey you take through that process can feel like a winding, complex mountain road or just a straight shot down the highway. And here are our two main players. Over on one side, you've got the huge undertaking of a new line relocation project. I mean, we are literally building something brand new from the ground up. Then on the other side, you've got the much more focused, surgical task of a pole replacement. Honestly, it's kind of like the difference between building a whole new house versus just fixing a leaky faucet. Both are important for sure, but they require completely different tools and approaches. You might be wondering, why do we have this rigid, staged process anyway? Well, it all boils down to one thing: consistency. We need a reliable method so that no matter how different the projects are, everyone involved, from the designers to the project managers to the stakeholders, is speaking the same language and knows exactly where a project stands. And this image, well, it really gets to the heart of it. Both projects need a checklist to get from start to finish, but the items on those lists are just fundamentally different. Following the right checklist for your specific project is the absolute first step to making sure you avoid major headaches down the road. Okay, so let's zoom in on where these two paths first split. It happens right at the very beginning, in the initiation stage. The first moves you make are totally different depending on the project you're on. So picture this. You've just been assigned a brand new project. What's the very first thing that happens? Well, the answer completely depends on whether you're building a new line or just swapping out a pole. Those first steps you take are critically different. Now, just look at this table. The split between these two project types is immediate, and it is significant. For a new line, you're kicking off a massive coordination effort from day one. We're talking a full-blown site survey, a formal kickoff meeting with teams like real estate and environmental, a detailed scope document, and deep dives into easement checks. For a pole replacement, it's lean and mean from the start, a simple site visit and a preliminary review. It's really the difference between mobilizing an entire army versus sending in one specialist. So, what's the crucial point here? The beginning of a new line project is this huge collaborative effort to gather as much information as possible. You're working with tons of different teams and doing some serious investigation. But for a pole replacement, the start is quick, it's focused, and it's designed to get moving fast. All right, let's fast forward through the project's lifecycle to a huge milestone, stage 90. This is where you pull together the complete design package, and you're gonna see that the differences we saw at the start have gotten even bigger. You should think of stage 90 as the final exam for the design phase. It's that moment of truth where you present this comprehensive package that proves your design is solid, it's complete, and it's ready for that official stamp of approval. Nothing goes forward until you pass through this gate. And this table just makes the difference crystal clear. For a new line, you need detailed SAG charts, official plan and profile drawings, and a formal permitting application. And listen, each of those is a major undertaking that involves a ton of specialized engineering and coordinating with people outside our team. And for a pole replacement, you don't need any of that at this stage. It's a whole different world. So the bottom line is, the checklist you need to get through stage 90 for a new line is just way longer. And it has to be, right? It reflects the huge complexity, the number of outside stakeholders involved, and the much higher risk that comes with building brand new infrastructure from scratch. So let's bring this all home. We've seen that these projects start differently, and they end up with totally different deliverables. But why is it so critical to understand and actually respect these two separate paths? Here's the most important takeaway. If you treat a big new line project like it's a simple pole replacement, you are going to miss critical steps. That's going to lead to massive delays and blown budgets. It's a recipe for disaster. On the flip side, if you treat a pole replacement like it's a new line, you'll just waste time and money getting bogged down in unnecessary steps.
So, following the right path from day one isn't just about process, it's about getting rid of surprises, managing expectations, and ultimately delivering a successful project. So, as you head back and tackle your next assignment, this is the first and most important question you need to ask yourself. Is this a complex new line with a long, detailed checklist, or is it a focused pull replacement on a much more streamlined path? Because that answer is going to define your entire project.